Hi, this is Phoebe Blamey and welcome to the Happy Money Journey podcast for today. I'm really excited to have you here. I have spent most of my life working in financial services. I'm a qualified financial planner and I have my own mortgage broking business since 2006. I know that as a busy woman, it's really hard to get your life into some sort of shape. And so I'm here to help you on your own happy money journey. So today I really just wanted to talk a little bit about everyone's level of financial self-care being different and what yours is and what it means to look after ourselves with money. Because we know what it means to look after ourselves. It's about eating well, it's about sleeping well, it's about connecting. And it's the same with money. It's about making you feel safe but aware of your financial situation. So I was reading an article from Penn State University the other day, and even a small amount of money put aside for a rainy day, for an emergency, increases your financial well-being tenfold, way more than you showing how resilient you are in the face of a job loss or a relationship breakdown or any of the things that may actually impact us financially. Having that small amount of money put aside is huge for our financial well-being. Who would have thought? I was actually really surprised, and it made me look really into what creates financial well-being and what you want to put aside to make yourself feel really safe. And there's such a big element of fear around not being able to support ourselves if an emergency does happen. And I was thinking for most of my team, because most of them are in relationships, that they'd only need a small amount of money. But one of them brought up the best point, and her fear money is really high. She's at $10,000, and she said, but what if he's the emergency? What if all of a sudden I need to escape from a violent situation, or what if all of a sudden he's in an accident, or what if all of a sudden something so bad happens and I'm potentially left homeless? Worse than losing your job, worse than being evicted, worse than dealing with a flood, where in all those situations, there's a potential that we've got some sort of outside help. What if that person's the emergency? So that's a really good amount of money for her to have. And it makes her feel safe. And that's the point. It doesn't matter how much it is per se. I'm not saying keep 10, keep $1, keep $2,000. What I'm saying is know what that amount is for you, and know that you've got it. And if you don't have it, let's make a plan of you getting it, because seriously, this is so interesting around the well-being piece. And you can't make any good decisions about money without having that financial well-being. So this week, I want you to really put some time and effort into thinking about what is that amount of money for you that would make you feel safe if you can always see it in your bank account. Not money that you're going to go back and use, not money that you're going to just leave there for a minute and then need again. This is money that's for nothing but you're running away from home, you're being able to support yourself in an emergency, being able to look after yourself when you really have to. So mine was $2,000. It's not very much. In a longer term situation, I've got other assets that I can sell and things like that. So I was thinking of a very short-term emergency, and it probably isn't going to be breaking up in a relationship because I'm not in one, but also it's not going to be losing my house or anything drastic like that because I've got all that covered. So it's not money also that I'm spending on bills or living expenses or entertainment expenses or anything like that. This is just for, I need to replace all the tires in the car or something similar to that. And knowing that I've got it, that's where I've got my financial well-being. And that's where you've got yours. So let's have a little think about what your aim might be in actually creating that and making it happen. And even if you're only making it happen by $100 increments or $50 increments, or let's face it, for some of us, $20 increments sometimes, because we just don't have that money to put aside. If we had it all the time, we wouldn't be worried about it. So find somewhere you'd like to build it up. And you know me, I love those micro investment apps. I just think that invisible savings is one of the best things I discovered during COVID. They make me happy. They do take a couple of days to get the money out when you need it. So be mindful of that. If that's not going to be your jam, put it in a high interest savings account. And to look at high interest savings accounts, hop onto Canex and they'll find you the best rate and the best bonus rates as well. So over time, I know that years ago I had some money in a Bank of Melbourne savings account because they were offering me a 1.75% bonus interest. All of those things are all over the place. I don't tend to keep a lot of money in savings accounts at the moment. Just personally, they haven't been paying that well. But, you know, potentially now that's changing. So, and shares aren't paying that well. So it's always worth diversifying your investments, even if your investments are your emergency money. So it doesn't matter where they are. Probably I've got some in my crypto account. I don't use that very often, and I really have hardly been looking at it since it resulted in, I think I started at 1,500, went up to about 2,700, and then it went down to about 700. So, and it's sort of stayed there. So I lost interest in my crypto. But those sort of things where we're not looking at it every day, but we know it's there, is actually really adding to our financial well-being. So think of what your number is and make yourself a little plan to just try and get there. Even get halfway there, and it will be amazing. It will really make a difference to your sense of financial well-being. The next step is to find a connection between those things that we do that bring us joy and the money that's taken us to get there. So that as well is a real financial self-care move. What are some of the things that you really enjoy doing? So one of mine is always catching up with my friends, getting that big sense of social connection, talking to people, putting yourself out there, having fun, being a bit silly, absolutely is one of my very favourite things to do. And I am most grateful that I live in a place and am in a position where I can go and do that pretty much whenever I want, because it's really nice to be able to go out and make that connection. But also the small things, the fact that we can switch on a light, the fact that I can, go home every night and be safe and secure in my own home. All of those things are things that I am most grateful for being able to do on my own. Having the ability to buy yourself flowers, having a job that earns you money, all the everyday things that may not look like they mean that much to you, putting a bit of gratitude their way and making the connection between I can do that because I've earned that money, because I work hard, because I am most grateful for the things that I'm able to do. Having the gratitude and having the little emergency fund are really going to add to your financial well-being. They're reminding ourselves and using those things is the way that we're soothing ourselves financially. So it's just reminding ourselves that we can do things that are a little bit special. And the third thing I do, the other thing I do as well, is I make sure that everything's under control. Sometimes when I'm not feeling great financially, all I need to do is just make sure that I know how much is owing, I know what bills are coming in, I know what bills I've paid. I just spend a moment doing that, overlooking all my accounts, making sure that everything's in good order. And if it's not, fixing it, just fixing it straight away. And that gives me a real sense of self-care to do with my finances, just making sure that everything's in order. And when and again, you're going to have times where it's not in order and you feel out of control, which is, the money equivalent to eating a Big Mac and fries, really, isn't it? It's just, we're all going to have a moment where the choices that we make aren't the optimum choice for us. We're going to get over it quickly. We're going to move on and we're going to forgive ourselves, and we're going to know in the future that we didn't like that way of soothing ourselves. So we're going to do something different. So my soothing plan is the having a little bit of money that I can run away from home with. It's being grateful daily for the gifts that I've got in my life. And it is making sure that I'm in control, that I know where things are at. They're not difficult things, they're not hard things. And that's the thing with self-care. It's something that can just become a habit in our daily lives and something that you can just do when you feel like doing it. So really getting in control of your money means feeling good about it. And that can be done by you just being a little bit mindful and looking after yourself. Because really, self-care is an absolute act of service to yourself. And we all are worthy of receiving the money and the things to remind us that we're in a good spot, financially and otherwise. And when we're not, we've got a path out of it. And that path is following your own happy money journey. So follow us on socials, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. I'm Phoebe Blamey. On Instagram and Facebook, we are The Happy Money Journey. And I would love to see you in our Facebook group, The Happy Honeys. This week, I'm also going to put a link in the show notes to our Know Your Money type quiz. And of course, my favourite giveaway, which is the Mindful Money Journey workbook, which is now a PDF fillable document. So enjoy. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Disclaimer. Just a reminder that the advice that's contained in this podcast is general in nature. It doesn't take into account your individual needs and circumstances, and we recommend considering the appropriateness of any advice to your individual circumstances and needs. We always recommend seeking the advice of an expert before making any financial decisions.